Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to SuperCoach Talk. This is another video where Shorty is teaming up with SuperCoach Talk. So if you're watching this one on my channel, go over to SuperCoach Talk, check out all the content they've got going. And likewise, share the love if you're on SuperCoach Talk, seeing Shorty's mug pop up. Go over and have a look at what I've been doing. So we're teaming up, bit of a 1-2 punch, twin towers in your forward line for SuperCoach in 2021. I'm looking forward to it. I did a video the other week on your dual position players that you should look at. I'm going to take a look at how you really need to look at your first side. A bit of a beginner's guide, a how-to, because a lot of videos that I do and the boys at SuperCoach Talk do, they're more advanced, you know, for the supercoacher that has been doing it for years. But what if you're someone who's just logged on, just fell in love with footy, or just thought they'd give it a crack for the first time and gone, Jesus, there's a lot of numbers going on here. Who do I pick? Where do I start? Am I spending enough in the right places? Do I have enough stars? Who are the rookies I'm meant to pick? So let's break it down. Just take a deep breath, calm it down, and let's walk through this. You know, this would be nice and easy. It's pretty tough to pick a good side, let me tell you. I've been trying for years, and, well, some people would say I've never picked a good side, but we've come close a couple of times. But I'm going to go by some of the tools that I use and just some of the, I guess, dot points that I think are just a good startup of what you should really build your first team around. Now, it's going to change a lot and we're not going to focus on picking who the stars are, and we're going to talk more structure. And I think the most important thing to talk about is exactly that. How do we structure up our sides? People always wonder, how many mid-prices should I have? You know, guys who aren't, all right, let's dull it right down. You're picking premiums, which are guys that are priced right up there. Superstars of the game, always averaging high 90s and into the hundreds. Then you go way down, you got your rookies. Basically anything under 200k. Your top draft picks are getting closer to the 200k mark, and you work back down to your normal rookies at about 123k and 117k. And in the middle is something that does our head in year after year. The mid-pricer or the breakout contender. Who's going to take their game from averaging 70 to 85 to, boom, being in that premium status, averaging high 90s to 100. If you can pick that, you save yourself a bit of time in terms of trading throughout the year. But if you miss it, well, you get severely burnt. Now, I'm going to talk about a bit of reflection, because I thought, well, what is the right number? We can all pick out a random number, but I thought, what have I actually done? Now, I've been doing videos since 2016, so I thought I'd go back and look at my first side, my first team of each year, and break down how many premiums I started with and how many mid-prices. So 2016, I had 13 premiums, albeit in the premium category was Sam Gray, so you can't really count him. Let's call it 12. And I had 5 mid-prices. I think I had Libba, Daniel Wells was in there. 2017, interesting, I had 11, and one of them was Josh Caddy. Oh, I thought I got burnt pretty bad right there, but Josh Caddy, he burnt me a lot worse than that. Anyway, so I had Caddy there as my 11th premium, if you want to say. And 4 mid-prices. I had Dane Beams, Roughhead, Nankervis was available as a forward. And ironically, I kept 300k in the bank. Slip, slop, hat. Oh. Slip, slop, slap, by the way. Kids, if you're watching out there. Let's straighten things up here. So, on this occasion in 2017, I left 300k in the bank, which I remember thinking at the time, there just wasn't anywhere for me to go. So I don't think there's any real reason to leave a certain amount of money in your bank. Just pick the team you want, and whatever's left over is left over. On this occasion, 300k is too much, really. But I look back at my side, and there really wasn't anywhere else I could go. It did help me further on in the season. 2018, 12 premiums. That was a year of Christian Salem. For the people who watch my channel, I picked Christian Salem one year in the forward line. That was a burn and a half. And then I had just the 3 mid-prices. Devon Smith was in there. Christian Petrarca I had. 2019, 13 premiums, just 2 mid-prices, Libba, Darcy Moore. And 2020, which we can't really gauge because we didn't really know who was going to play, how often, what it was all looking like. But for the record, 10 premiums, 5 mid-prices. Had Houston, Robertson, English, Brayshaw, Devon Smith. So there's a whole lot of numbers. I hope I haven't scared you off and confused you yet. But I just wanted to break it down. So what's the answer? What should you be looking at? It's horses for courses. But you've got to get at least 11 premiums into your side. And the mid-prices, judge it. Just judge it. I would say don't go much more than 3 would be my advice. And I wouldn't really stuff around in the midfield unless you're really, really confident in that mid-pricer. Now, the reason I say that is because to be a keeper, which is someone we like to keep in our side from the start of the year all the way through, averages really nicely. I think in the back line and the forward line, we want a guy averaging high 90s and into the hundreds. That'll do us for the whole year. In the midfield, you really want him above 108. So for a mid-pricer, he's almost got to find an extra 10 points to stay in your side. And you don't want to be wasting trades and mucking around when you didn't have to throughout the year. So it's food for thought. And I think if we start with 11 premiums and we've got 30 trades and you work backwards from that, you're going to need to do probably 11 to 13 trade down, which if you're new to SuperCoach, that's trading a rookie that's made money for us, trading him back down to a rookie who might be playing his first, second, third game, and then he's going to go up. So we pocket 150k, 250k, and that can allow us to then look at our other rookie that's just scored pretty nicely for the first 7 rounds. He's up to 288k. Oh, hello, I can upgrade him to a premium that's maybe just dropped off a touch, or maybe he's got injured and had a score of 16 where he was off the ground for most of the game and he's dropped in price. So we can turn a rookie at the start of the year into a premium. So you're probably looking at doing quite a few of those trades, which therefore you want to give yourself a bit of leeway, 6 to 8 trades for injury. So you've just got to sort of look at it like that. I might use 11 or 12 trades where I'm making money, and then 11 or 12 trades where I'm upgrading a rookie. So there's 22 or 24 of our trades used already. So you've got to think about that. But I don't want to get too complicated on it, but I really wanted to stress that point on the structure point of view. And don't stress about the rookies. Rookies will always bob up. SuperCoach Talk will have a great article. I'll be chatting about them as we get closer. The rookies will sort themselves out. But when you're picking your side, each line, try to have premiums totaling 11 or 12. And I like to personally go a bit bigger in the midfield. We have 8 spots on the ground in the midfield. I'll often have 5 premiums, and then I might have 3 in the back line, 3 in the forward line, and maybe 1 in the ruck, depending. A lot of people like to go 2 with Gawn and Grundy, so you might just have 4 premiums in the midfield. It just depends. Again, if there's a couple of mid-prices that really take your fancy, then jump at them and rearrange your team accordingly. But rough guide, you've just come to SuperCoach, find yourself 11 or 12 premium players and work it out from there. A few other points I just wanted to touch on because I think the structure is the most important thing just for a pure start. But I think I hear a lot of people say, oh, I shouldn't have too many players from the one team. Well, look, that's true, but don't handcuff yourself with that. What would my advice be? Look, yeah, of course, you probably don't want to have stacks of players from the one team because of the bye, but don't get too concerned if you've got 5 players from the one team, but 3 of them are rookies or a couple of them are rookies, because they'll probably be gone by the time the buys even come around. So don't limit yourself. Don't go scrolling through your team and say, oh, Jesus, I've got 3 cats already. I can't pick another 4th. If they pick themselves and they deserve a spot, then pick them. I would say try to not have 3 giants all in the midfield or something like that. Try and spread it out, have a balance, but don't cut yourself off from potentially a good selection just because you've got a few from the same team, because the best sides score the best. So sometimes you might have quite a few players from the best sides. Another point I wanted to touch on was don't try and reinvent the wheel. And that sort of is probably maybe for someone who's been doing SuperCoach a little bit already, but don't try and get too creative and outthink yourself. It's always, the temptation is to always find that breakout contender, because it feels good. I've picked a bloke that no one gave a stuff about 12 months ago, and now he's a superstar and he's in my team for the long haul. From all the times I've done that, and history is suggesting it doesn't often work. There are success stories, but it's hard. It's hard to nail it. And if you get it wrong, it really hurts. So my main advice is to keep it simple. Plug your side full of the best players in the competition. Round it out with the best rookies in the game. Make sure you've got all your players playing. You want, by round one, you want to have everyone getting a game because they can make money for you. They can score for you. And that's what it's all about, making money. And, that's a different question. This is just a beginner's guide. But there's some of the main points. I think it's just about keeping it simple. Don't reinvent the wheel and nail your premiums. I think we look so much at, who's going to up their average or which rookies are going to get games. I think sometimes an overlooked part of the game is the actual premiums and which ones are not just going to average 106 but 116, because it makes a massive difference. And sometimes we just sort of go, oh yeah, he's a star, and you just sort of chuck him in the team, and then you look back and you go, oh, maybe if I thought through that a little bit more, because I know, looking back at some of my selections, some of the worst decisions and most painful ones, tough ones to swallow, are the ones that I've spent 550,000 on a bloke, and then I got to trade him out because he's averaging like 92, and I'm like, oh Jesus, I thought he'd average 110. They're the ones that really hurt. So I hope this video has been helpful to you. I've probably chucked a few figures around, a few numbers, quite a few words. Shorty can blabble on for a little bit, but hopefully it breaks it down nicely for you. If you've got that empty screen in front of you, full of players to select, just keep it simple. Find 11 or 12 of the best. Do a bit of research. Wait till pre-season at the moment to really see who's burning up the track. But just find out who are those best players. Fill your side out around the superstars. Don't worry, the rookies, they'll show themselves. They'll come to light closer to the season. And we'll see who's playing in the pre-season games. And maybe jot down a few names that you like the look of that could explode. And really watch them closely through pre-season, because that's really where we get an indication. So they are the main points I wanted to touch on. Get those premiums. Don't go nuts on mid prices when the time comes to really selecting those. So keep it simple. Do the right stuff, and you should be okay. But it is just a start. I try to follow those rules every year, and you haven't seen me winning the 50K yet. So let's see how we go. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked what I've been putting out on either my channel or SuperCoach Talk, feel free to get around it. I'll have plenty more content coming. From my channel point of view, I've got lots of club by club previews happening, and I'll also be doing plenty of stuff for SuperCoach Talk as well. And they've got heaps of discussion going on, plenty of community stuff happening in the chats as well. So all the best. I'll chat to you soon. Cheers.